This is the ticket from April 9th, 2024. It's what started it all. Crooked Jackson County Sheriff Deputy wrote me a ticket for violating a Summit Township Ordinance, SU 130.03E1I, possessing a knife over 3 inches in length, with a blade over 3 inches in length. The arrest and ticket took place upon South Robert Street at or near Tyson Street. He claims it's Summit Township. It is not Summit Township. This is a map prepared by this person at Jackson County GIS, Jacob Thurlow. And this up here is Tyson Street. This down here is Joy Street. This is South Roberts. The arrest took place right about here. I'll show you that in a minute, because this is the Hydaker Wheat Lake Company. This is their big pile of wood. This is the water tower. This is the power substation. Pay attention, these red lines are the boundary lines for townships. North of that line is Blackman Township. South of that line is Summit Township. I was up here when I was arrested, not down here. This over here is City of Jackson on this side of these lines right here. But that doesn't matter because this is Robert Street and this is where I was. This is another map of the same thing, but this one I copied just for this way because that's where he put his little blue Post-it note with his name and email address on it for me. He also made this map. Turn it this way for a minute. It's the same thing. It's off the Jackson County GIS website. And here he put this green mark right here because that's the location of where the squad car was when he pulled up beside me and arrested me. Because I was on the west side of the street over here, right between the pile of wood and the building straight behind me. You'll see it in the picture. This is a little more blown up version of it. Another way to measure is this is the power substation. You saw that right here, remember? Power substation, right, okay. Power substation, Hydaker Wheat Lake Company, their pile of wood, and right about there. Now, if you blow it up more, we get more detail. See the telephone poles? That telephone pole, we marked it off that telephone pole, and that's right in front of the police car, which is right about here in the pictures taken by the sheriff's vehicle dash cam, okay? Show you that right now. Right here. Sheriff's vehicle dash cam. I'll turn it this way. Count the poles. There's that double pole up there, which is this up here. There's one there and one there. And then there's this pole. Double poles up there, one pole right there. Right there. One pole. Yeah, what are we about? 25, 30 feet from the pole, maybe at best. Here's a picture when the deputy was starting to get out of his car. This is his body cam. And that right there is me. That's Hydaker Wheat Lake. That's their wood pile. Again, this is right after he got out. That's me. take this off. That's me. That's the wood pile. That's Hyde-Acre Wheat Lake Company's building. And right over there, you can see it is the water tower still. That's its body cam. Now, further evidence. This is from the deputy's body cam. That's the squad car's GPS right there. Yeah, take a good look at that. No Joy Street. There's Tyson. That's South Roberts. We're right up there near the corner. Right up there near the corner. Isn't that wonderful? This is actually, there I am right there. Hard to see. There, now you can see it better. I'm blocking some of the excess light. That's me. And that's it driving up on me. You can still see the water tower and the Hyde-Acre Wheat Lake Company. And that intersection at the top of the hill is Tyson. This is all the way down where the deputy was crossing the boundary line. Right there, that'd be this boundary line between Summit Township and Blackman Township. This is me sitting in the back of the squad car. Please note that the start time is at 0, and the end time is 19 minutes and 23 seconds. According to a deputy, high-ranking deputy that I spoke to, the squad car's 2 cameras come on automatically and turn off automatically with the turning on of the overhead emergency lights on top of the vehicle. When you turn those on, the forward-facing dash cam and the rear-facing camera come on automatically. Please note that the time length of the forward-facing camera is 31 minutes and 27 seconds compared to the rear-facing camera, which is 19 minutes and 23 seconds. So you got 19:23 and 31:27. This watch of mine, same watch I was wearing at the time I was arrested and written the ticket. You hit that button there and it starts the stopwatch. I started the stopwatch as soon as that deputy pulled up beside me. The entire arrest, ticketing, everything that I was detained right there on the side of the road took 37 minutes and 28 seconds. 37 minutes and 28 seconds from when I saw him pull up beside me. He probably had his lights on, I'm thinking, before that, because like I said, he was crossing the line right here, and that's 8 seconds. 8 seconds into the dash cam video, and he's crossing this line. So he probably turned on his lights 8 seconds before the line at whatever his speed was. Okay? That tells me that either the prosecutor, Eric C. White, Summit Township prosecutor Eric C. White, or the Jackson County Sheriff's Department committed a felony crime of tampering with evidence because they edited these videos. These videos, particularly the body cam video, which had the body cam video had there's the body cam. Body cam video had him talking to different people on telephones, and he had 2 different cell phones in his possession. The 2 cell phones actually show up in one of his body cam, one part of his body cam video. It's right there. And I already have copies of the videos. So they wrote me a ticket for violating a SUMMIT Township ordinance while I was in Blackman Township. Remember, you could see the Heidecker Wheat Lake Company and the wood pile. Right there's the Heidecker Wheat Lake Company. And you can see the wood pile. And you can see that. And you can see that, either dash cam or body cam. So that puts us right about there. And right about there is what? Oh, yes, Blackman Township. If you look at the video from the body cam, I politely discuss with the deputy that we are in Blackman Township, not Summit. And he told me that I'm in a little-known part of Summit Township and writes me the ticket anyway. The ticket is 90 days in jail or $500 fine. And I'm not going to do either. In fact, the deputies, when I'm done here, the deputy's going to end up going to jail. And by the way, the deputy who writes on the ticket that his name is Robert Henderson, right here, Robert Henderson. The sheriff's explorer, young guy in his 20s, I think, who was with him, the young guy called him Dustin several times. And from that, I went and ran a background check on a Dustin Robert Henderson, who was employed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. It seems Jackson County Sheriff Deputy Dustin Robert Henderson has a criminal record. One record is here in Jackson County. Various traffic, whatever, but the biggie is discharge of a firearm in a trailer park. It's crime. With that alone, he should not be a sheriff's deputy according to Michigan law. He also, in the background check, turned up with a criminal record in 3 other states that he lived in prior to coming back to Jackson, Michigan. So, this is what started all this, which pissed me off enough to take and make my complaint in the Court of Appeals to try to beat him, because it's quite obvious to me that the crooked judge, Robert K. Gakey Jr., who took up the defense of the crooked Summit Township prosecutor Eric C. White, when Eric C. White committed perjury in court, and I called him on it in court, and he never recanted, so he's guilty of perjury. He had to recant before he left the courtroom, or it doesn't count. He's still guilty of perjury. He didn't do that. So all of this is just tearing apart Jackson County to start with, because it's run by a bunch of corrupt people. The sheriff's department, the sheriff, Schutte, has got to be corrupt because he has done nothing about his corrupt deputies. Captain Hiller, that I arrested, you'll see the YouTube video. He resisted arrest, put his hand on his gun, said he wasn't going to allow me to arrest him. I was arresting him for his 2 federal felony violations of United States Code Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 13, Sections 241 and Section 242, violation of my rights under color of law, because he was refusing to obey a subpoena that was lawfully, legally issued, served on the sheriff's department for the evidence that I wanted, which was these videos, the ticket, and police reports. And the police report and videos I asked for also from the Lieutenant Barnett and Sergeant Watson for their illegal arrest of me for owing child support, which I didn't owe. So all of this started because of this. And the 2 phone calls at least that I overheard that Sheriff Deputy Dustin Robert Henderson made on one of the 2 cell phones that he was carrying in his possession were to someone who was giving him instructions on what to do with me, and they were part of the illegal Minnesota life psychology experiment, and those people were hired by the Al-Qaeda terrorists that make up and run the Marcoux Allen law firm, who have been illegally controlling my Whitman's trust, illegally representing my Whitman trust. In fact, it started out my corporation trust is what I called it back in 1976 when I created it. But they took illegal control of it, changed the name, probably rewrote the trust, because I have no idea what it says now. I know what it said then when I wrote it. Back in 76, the law firm was Domke, Marcoux, Allen, Beeman, and Cheney. Richard Bruce Cheney, commonly known as Dick Cheney. Yeah, that's him. He ended up VP, vice president. He ran Halliburton. Domke, Marcoux, Allen, Beeman, and Cheney. The law firm was dissolved 3 months roughly after I wrote my original corporation trust with Cheney as my lawyer. Marcoux and Allen were accusing Cheney of running off with my trust documents, all my corporation documents, and allegedly cleaning out all my bank accounts. Said he stole everything. Domke and Beeman didn't believe that of Cheney. They didn't want anything more to do with Marcoux and Allen. So Domke, being the majority owner, more than 50% owner of the Domke, Marcoux, Allen, Beeman, and Cheney law firm, Domke and Beeman got together and says, we're dissolving the law firm. We don't want nothing to do with this anymore. And they left. And Marcoux and Allen started their own law firm, which is still in existence. The Marcoux Allen Law Firm, they have offices in Jackson, Michigan, and in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And that's when they apparently, after they started their own little law firm, Marcoux and Allen rewrote my trust and took illegal control of and illegal representation of my trust, because I've never seen it since. When I was 8 years old, I inherited $280 million and my great-grandfather's share of Saab aircraft and Saab motor cars. My great-grandfather lived in Oslo, Norway. I was named after him, Bank Val Thulin. They stole all of that, and all of this, right down to this ticket, is all part of their scam to try to keep me locked up so they can maintain their illegal control. Why do I say that? Because I have learned from the FBI, who is investigating all this, and has been since July 10th of 2014, and they've got all kinds of politicians involved that they've uncovered involved. This shit's spread all across the country. They've been bribing politicians, judges, cops everywhere, not just Jackson County. Judge Diane Rapley here in Jackson County had her on March 8th, 2011, admitted to the fact that she had her entire college, university, and law school and her first year in law practice paid for with money that came from my trust fund. She admitted it. I told her to pay it back to me, not to that trust fund, because they didn't have any right to give it to her. She said it was grant money. She didn't have to pay it back. I says, I'm the only one that has the legal right to give grant money to anybody from my trust. And I never gave grant money to anybody. So you stole the money, you conspired with those people that are illegally running this. She called William Marcoux, himself into the court while I was still there, and I didn't even know who he was because I'd never seen him before. After that, she threw out the child support charges that were against me then, claiming $17,000 owed, and said that Judge John G. McBain's order from 2006 on June 28th, the pay or stay, 90-day pay or stay that I covered earlier, yeah, she said that that did in fact say that I didn't owe anymore. She cut me loose right then and there. But out of revenge, she kept her court case, the child support case, open all these years, putting in all kinds of alleged court dates that never existed into the file, and kept raising the amount of money that I supposedly owed until it was now $23,000 June of this year when they arrested me again. And Judge Nye turned me loose on the 12th because he said the same thing. I didn't owe anything. It all comes back to those terrorists that are illegally controlling and illegally representing my trust. Every bit of this, you can blame it all on them. Now, when it comes to this appeal that I filed with Michigan Court of Appeals, proving that the law enforcement as we know it is not constitutionally legal, the United States Congress is going to have to get together and write and pass an amendment to the United States Constitution giving the government the right to enforce laws basically as we know it right now. Because as it stands, anybody that's ever been arrested by any government law enforcement in the history of the United States has had their rights violated. Their arrest was not constitutionally legal, therefore they can have their charges overturned. Their arrest, their convictions, their sentences overturned. Not to mention all the lawsuits that can be filed against the government for what was done to them. It all got because of this asshole right here that wrote me a ticket when he had no legal right to do so. He knew I was in Blackman Township. I told him. He knew it was not Summit Township. We talked about it, but he claimed it was. And if the Summit Township prosecutor, Eric C. White, had any honor at all, he would have seen that right from the start, and he would have thrown out the ticket and told the court, we're not bringing this to court because we know it's not right. But Eric C. White has no honor. Judge Robert K. Gakey Jr., who's been presiding over the 12th District Court case in this, he has no honor because he stood up for Eric C. White, the Summit Township prosecutor, when he committed perjury. Because he refused to sign subpoenas for me at first so I could get evidence to prove my innocence. Because he stood right up there at his bench talking to the Jackson County public defender, Joseph Voitko, or whatever I think his name was. He was public defender, co-counsel at my arraignment, and told Voitko that he wasn't going to sign subpoenas for me. He wasn't going to give me an opportunity to destroy a good deputy's life. That I was going to be found guilty. That's what he told Voitko. Now I can't get audio recordings from the arraignment because now they're claiming the arraignment didn't exist. If the arraignment didn't exist, when the hell did I plead not guilty? Because I know I did. And they admitted to that much, that I pled not guilty. If I pled not guilty, then that takes place at the arraignment. But that didn't happen. Anyway. I'll say that concludes this video. Spread it around. Let the whole world know just how corrupt our government is. Certainly our Jackson County government. But the rest of the government, for having unlawful, constitutionally illegal law enforcement, is still corrupt too. Every bit of it. And that's a sad thing to say, because I'm going to admit right now that I was government law enforcement. I served 3 years in the United States Army military police. I got 2 honorable discharges. I did a 2-year and a 1-year hitch. Army service ribbon for doing something right. Anyway, after that, I became a court officer for the 44th District Court in Royal Oak, Michigan. Long time. I'm retired now, but this is what they're doing to me. And they thought I wasn't going to fight back. They're wrong. Help me take the fight to the people so the people know the truth. Spread this and all my other videos around. Let the people see the truth. Thank you.